What the mock is up, Whisper Nation? We're here mocking around the Christmas tree. Another mock draft from the Fantasy Whispers right now.
All right, Whisper Nation, Big Travie, Johnny Game Time Hicks, and Austin Sear here about to get involved in another mock draft. We're going to do this one all picking for the same team. We're going to rotate off who makes that decision. Big Travie starts it off. I'm going to go the second round, Johnny in the third round, rotate from there. We're doing a 14-team, full-point PPR with 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 kicker, 1 defense, 1 quarterback. Let's get it started.
All right, so we started this draft here. We got Alvin Kamara. Even though it says under my name, those are just going to be simulated picks. So that was Saquon.
Pay no
Barkley.
attention to the picks behind the second person.
Yeah, it's we're all deciding on this first pick. So we had Saquon, then Zeke went third, Le'Veon Bell, DeAndre Hopkins at 5, then Melvin Gordon. So then it becomes our pick. Travis,
No way this is available.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is kind of crazy.
I'm just shaking my head because this is awesome.
Juicy.
Full point PPR, 14-team league. We've got Christian McCaffrey here. I think I'm unanimous.
We don't have to look at any of
We
them.
don't-
I don't
like,
even know who's
You're
on.
unanimous.
Close your eyes. Let's go.
You're
David
unanimous. I think.
Yeah, I think I'm unanimous. You're unanimous. We're all
I'm unanimous on this one as well. Following up there, David Johnson, Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Joe Mixon,
Oh,
Travis
we
Kelce,
almost.
James Conner, Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, Damian Williams. In the second round, we're picking. I'm the one taking the lead on this one. Let me see who we got here. I'm looking at Antonio Brown, Adam Thielen, Zach Ertz, Patrick Mahomes, T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen, Marlon Mack. These are some of the names at the top of the board. I'm not taking Antonio Brown because I have no idea what we're going to expect from this guy, and I'm not going to just wish for the best. Adam Thielen I like, not in the second round, though. We're going to go positionally on this one now to take a stab at it. We're going to look at the top running backs available here. Marlon Mack out of Indianapolis, Leonard Fournette, Jacksonville, Derrick Henry, Tennessee, Aaron Jones, Green Bay, Devontae Freeman, Atlanta, Sony Michel. We don't need to go any further than that. Of these running backs here, I like Leonard Fournette, of course, because of everything that's going on in that situation. But because it's a full point PPR, I'm honestly a little more intrigued by Aaron Jones in that position over there. I know let's take a look at the wide receivers. Antonio Brown, Adam Thielen, T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, A.J. Green. This is a 14 team. We're doing a full point PPR. My feeling on this one is Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Is who I'd like to take in this spot here. I like the amount of targets he's going to get. I like the upside. I like how he was really healthy last year, except into the playoffs. Any discrepancies of taking Keenan Allen here? Does anybody would rather go with a Leonard Fournette or an Aaron Jones instead?
I like that. I like the Keenan Allen. That's actually exactly where I was thinking about. You're talking about PPR. He's a PPR monster.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is that the emergence of Hunter Henry does scare me a little bit about Keenan Allen, but he's never been the touchdown guy.
Yeah.
And so I think Keenan Allen's a good fit here, especially in full point PPR.
That's who we're taking right now. Keenan Allen off the second round. Following up from that picks, Antonio Brown, Zach Ertz, Leonard Fournette, Amari Cooper.
Johnny, make sure on the screen for Whisper Nation, since this is 14-team league, we want to be able to move around here and show them all the teams. For those of you joining us on YouTube, we thank you. Please hit subscribe. Click that notification bell so we know that you're always there getting those picks. Or
Adam Thielen off the board, Marlon Mack, Patty Mahomes, T.Y. Hilton, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Devontae Freeman, A.J. Green. All right, who you taking, Johnny?
So this is
thinking?
how real quick. I want to back it up just real quick to your Keenan Allen. Like we were really close. How sick would it have been if we had Damian Williams and Christian McCaffrey in a 14-team PPR? That would have been pretty nasty. We almost got close there, but so. Looking third round here.
I really liked A.J. Green right before. Swoop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been another really nice one. Looking at the running back position, you got Sony Michel. They don't really use them there for PPR purposes. You're looking at Josh Jacobs, Philip Lindsay, Chris Carson, Mark Ingram, Kerryon Johnson. Tyreek Cohen is kind of the first running back name that kind of pops off there for a running back position. And I'm not really sold on that. So
What about Philip Lindsay? What are your thoughts on Philip Lindsay right here?
I have my concerns. Travis has mentioned, the reports that the coaching staff might not be as impressed with him. Royce Freeman is also there. He is a very talented running back as well. So I don't see myself owning very many shares of Philip Lindsay simply because too many variables there. And for a 3rd round draft pick, I want it to be as close to a sure thing as we possibly can get.
Fair enough.
So I'm not looking that way.
Okay.
Any interest here, Johnny, and George Kittle sitting right there as a PPR monster, as a guy, especially with
So I was going to talk to you guys about that. Actually, when you look at the rest of this squad, the other positions available, best wide receivers: Stephon Diggs, Julian Edelman, Brandon Cooks, Kenny G. All those guys are pretty solid wide receivers, but again, there's nothing that screams at me like I gotta go and get that player at that position.
No big standouts.
Yeah. And I think the biggest standpoint, like, we're gonna get an elite tight end in the 3rd round, a 14-teamer. I think we got to take Travis Kelce, George Kittle there. Are you guys down with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that pick. I really like it.
Yeah. All right. So we'll do.
He's the standout. He's the standout over there. Probably the best receiving option you got on the team. Very impressive all the way around. Like you said about those other players, like him, like your Stephon Diggs, like your Julian Edelmans. But no real standouts as where George Kittle could be the number 1.
Yeah.
All right. Stephon Diggs, guy we were just talking about, was taken immediately afterwards, followed by Sony Michel, Philip Lindsay, Kenny Galladay, Cooper Kupp, Julian Edelman, Josh Jacobs, Mark Ingram, Jarvis Landry, Chris Carson, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks. I can't see the next player.
Oh.
Carry on, John Cohen.
My bad.
Now it's up to us. Travis, share us a little bit of the inner machinations of your mind.
Oh, I don't think you want to go in there. But for this pick,
This is a family show. Is
for this pick, I just want to take a look at maybe some running backs that might be interesting here. It's not looking great.
Sorry, what do you got over there? Kenyon Drake, Darius Geis, James White.
But
Tevin
I'm actually, and you guys may have to talk me off the ledge here. I think we should go running back here. I think it's important, especially in a 14-team league.
Who do you suggest?
I'm looking at James White. And the reason is I know there's a lot of running backs in New England, but this guy is trusted among nobody else in that stable. He actually led the team in red zone targets last year. I really like James White. I think he's undervalued. And in PPR, he's just a monster. If you guys can explain to me why any of these other guys around him, Darius Geis, Kenyon Drake, Tevin Coleman, Jordan Howard, Lamar Miller, should be picked ahead of him, or maybe I need to be looking at wide receiver. You guys.
Well, this running back one here, everything you're saying about James White is true. It's got New England has a lot of running backs over there, we know, but nobody else fills that James White role. It's fairly safe. I think the 4th round, I don't feel good about taking him in the 4th round there. It's 14-team. It's okay, but I'm just not excited by it. Kenyon Drake and Lamar Miller to me stand out because those could be 3-down guys, guys who could be catching a lot of passes as well. I that's where my head goes over there. What do you think about Johnny in the receiving positions? Anybody stand out to you in the receiving pool?
Chris Godwin is a guy that actually does stand out to me as far as the wide receiver position. It's been rumored that he's going to take the Larry Fitzgerald role. If he does truly, in fact, take that role, that's a ton of targets coming his way. We saw how good he was when he was the number 2 wide receiver, and you're looking at a Bruce Arians offense who we've seen multiple wide receivers be, very fantasy relevant. At one point, there was we had 3 fantasy relevant wide receivers in Arizona. So my pick here would be Chris Godwin or Tyler Boyd. I think both of those guys are target monsters. And to me, running backs can wait. I know that we're getting deeper in running, but like PPR leagues, you can get guys like Austin Eckler way down, and he's going to get you the same amount of points as Kenyon Drake on most days, just because of how many times he catches out of the backfield. But we got to quickly hurry because we got 14 seconds.
This is Travis' pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Tyler Boyd. You guys successfully talked me off the ledge. Although I really wanted to go with James White here, I think it could have given us a huge boost. But they drafted another running back this year in Damian Harris, who does have receiving experience.
Yeah.
So successfully talked me off the ledge. I did want to maybe wait on a guy like Tyler Boyd and take the upside with Chris Godwin. We did see Godwin taken off the board right after.
Yeah.
But Tyler Boyd was the safe play, I think, here, especially, we talk about it in the last 3 mocks, a guy that really has the opportunity to be the number 1 in Cincinnati when it's all said and done. I know we love AJ Green.
Yep.
We love his talent, but
Wait, hold on. How is Tyler Boyd going to take the seat from AJ Green?
You've actually looked. You've looked at third down and against the blitz, and Andy Dalton has favored Tyler Boyd in those situations. So even with AJ Green on the field, Tyler Boyd has been a target that Andy Dalton likes a lot. So I know the narrative has always been AJ Green because of his connection with Andy Dalton, but we're starting to see a changing.
Including last season, AJ Green and Julio Jones had the exact same amount of fantasy points.
Yeah, they had a bunch of
crazy.
They were drafted together
within 3 picks.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
So moving along here, coming back down to the 5th round, we've got Tyler Boyd. Or after Tyler Boyd, we saw Andrew Luck taken, then Kenyon Drake, Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley. Johnny's gonna click a person.
Well, it'll be the computer here. The computer took Aaron
top of the board.
Rodgers and
Eric Ebron after that, Mike Williams, Darius Geis, Tyler Lockett, DJ Moore, Baker Mayfield, and the pick before taken. I didn't want to say it. I wasn't going to jinx it. It didn't matter. Superstitions are bogus. All right, so we've got then in the 5th round. This is my pick here. I already know who I'm going to take. I'll just to humor it, take a look at the quarterbacks. You're not going to find me taking a quarterback in the first 9 rounds. So I'll just going to move over to running backs. Tevin Coleman, Jordan Howard, Lamar Miller, Kareem Hunt, David Montgomery, Latavius Murray. I don't not like that Lamar Miller pick. I think that Houston could be really good. He's still got the role. We always talk about Deontay Foreman. It hasn't happened yet. Will it? I don't know. But you could get a 3-down back right there in the 5th round in a 14-team league. I like that. But let's take a look at the wide receivers. We are dealing with a full-point PPR. Alshon Jeffrey.
got some nice options there at the wide
Allen
receiver
Robinson,
position.
Robbie Anderson. I like some of these receivers here.
And let's remember, we have 3 wide receivers that we are starting. So
we do. I'm just gonna tell you who I'm gonna take on this one and tell me if not. I'm taking Sammy Watkins here.
I like this pick.
Yeah, like
Anybody
Looked at him last round too.
Yeah. Anybody in a league knows with me, I'm always swinging for upside. I go upside over floors every time, and this is going to cause you to miss. This is also potentially going to cause you to have the most points per game in your league over the course of an 8-year stretch. So Sammy Watkins could be the number 1 behind in the most productive offense in the league, led by Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid team. Sammy Watkins he's got pedigree, man. He's a top 10 drafted wide receiver. Health is the concern there, but when he's healthy, he's there. I don't ever like to gamble on health because you just really never know. I'm taking Sammy Watkins unless you guys have a convincing argument otherwise.
Final answer?
It's
Yeah,
done.
that's
Sammy
fine.
Watkins is drafted. Alshon Jeffrey immediately afterwards, followed by Evan Ingram, OJ Howard, Deshaun Watson, Tyreek Hill, Matt Ryan, Robbie Anderson, Drew Brees, Hunter Henry, Jared Cook, Tevin Coleman, Lamar Miller, my boy, Russell Wilson. Actually, I take that back. He's not my boy. I just think he's Jordan Howard. And now here we are. Johnny.
Lamar Miller is that pick that like nobody feels good about when you make it.
Oh,
Everybody in your draft is going to make fun of you, no doubt about it. But you're going to be sitting there with an RB2 every week.
Yep, and so they're going to be sliding in your DMs,
asking for Lamar Miller when all their, when their Tevin Colemans and their Jerick McKinnons get hurt, they're going to be coming to you asking for Lamar Miller. So I think that's an interesting.
All right, so I just want to touch on over here because we're seeing a lot of quarterbacks coming off the board now. So I just want to give a check at where we're at with that. So we got Carson Wentz, who I'm pretty high on, Cam Newton, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers. So we got some options there at the quarterback position still. If we look at the board, there's essentially only 2 teams that don't have a quarterback, so they might try to snag one of those in the next round. So I don't know how high you guys are on Carson Wentz or Cam Newton, or if you feel like Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers, Jimmy G could kind of close that, be okay with that.
Let me jump in on here really quickly on this one. My belief here with the quarterbacks is, one of these guys could be real. I mean, I'm saying top 3 quarterbacks, but I think you're going to have a bunch of dudes also on the waiver wire that are going to be surprising players. Last season, taking a look at dudes like Matt Ryan or even Patrick Mahomes, who was not drafted in most leagues. Patrick Mahomes and Matt Ryan were at the bottom of your ADP, and those 2 guys finished in the top 3. And that's something common you see a lot. Your Aaron Rodgers and your proven guys, they usually show up, but you're going to have guys who are going to come off the waiver wire, make a huge splash. You can also stream quarterbacks in this one. So,
yeah, I mean, here Austin's got making a great point here, especially in a 14-team league. You want to be thinking about this. Skill position is where it's going to be a paramount. We're not going to get enough skill position guys in there, especially at running back, especially at wide receiver and PPR, full point PPR. But you look down here deep, and I'm talking deep. Mitch Trubisky is sitting down here, and that guy had a stretch of games where he was the best quarterback in the league last year. So going back to the point of streaming quarterbacks, especially mobile quarterbacks down here, I feel like we can wait. Johnny, this is your pick. You get the say on this pick, so you let us know. But I think there's a good point to be made to wait on quarterback as long as we possibly can.
All right, so I'm just real quick. We got 25 seconds. I'm looking at the running backs. David Montgomery is kind of like the only guy that really pops off to me. That is somewhat interesting, and he would be our RB2. I would rather go with like an Austin Eckler or something like that, or Naheem Hines. But Allen Robinson is here, and I feel like we should make that pick.
I like that.
All right.
Yep.
We got to do it quick. Yeah, cool.
All right. Following up, Kareem Hunt, Latavius Murray, Carson Wentz, Vance McDonald. Next
Can
one.
we just talk a little sidebar here? Kareem Hunt was taken right after us. What are your guys' thoughts on the appropriate round to take Kareem Hunt in fantasy football drafts this year? It's going to be a topic of conversation. Somebody's going to do it. Is he a do not draft for the both of you? What do you think? Clear, are you comfortable taking it?
I'm just going to mitigate that risk and just stay out of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I can get him in the late. I'm talking 13, 14, 15 for me. That's where I would prefer to see him.
I start battling the demon of whether I draft him or not, probably in about the 9th round, I'd say, and it would definitely depend on what kind of running backs I have ahead of him. If I've got a very solid running back depth chart already, 2 or 3 guys, mostly probably like 3 guys that I'm super sold on, and I can get Kareem Hunt in the 9th, I would take the stab there, just because you don't need to necessarily have him. And he could be trade bait for you, but I'm probably going to stay away from him. He's going to get too expensive because someone will like the upside that he could possibly have near the end of the year when it matters.
Let him pay. Let him pay for it.
Yeah.
Then. So moving along here, then after Vance McDonald, we saw David Montgomery, followed by Will Fuller, Royce Freeman, David Njoku, Dante Pettis, Rashad Penny, Golden Tate, LaShawn McCoy, and now it's Travis's turn to pick for our team.
Yeah, I am. I'm probably going to get a little unpopular, some grief from the rest of this team here. But, Johnny wants to talk about Austin Eckler a lot here, receiving option in Los Angeles. I don't mind that pick. I actually think I'm going to go with a guy in Miles Sanders here. I know it might be a little early in the 7th, but he will be a starting running back for this team projected. He's got receiving experience. So if he can kind of be worked in that, if they finally break the mold and make him their bell cow in Philly, I kind of like Miles Sanders.
I like that pick because it's a high upside pick. You might be getting a real running back, and people are going to say, "Oh, the Eagles always have a running back by committee approach." And my counter to that would be, you're not wrong, but we also haven't seen a solid running back in that spot. Jay Ajayi was the closest thing that they had there, and he was riddled with injuries from day one. Yeah. They also knew that, so they paced him out. You had so many dudes last year on the squad who just
and that offensive line is just great. The offensive line is fantastic.
Yeah. And the second round draft pick on Miles Sanders tells me they want him to be their guy.
For sure. I love the upside on that one. Following up, Jared Goff, Jalen Samuels, Manuel Sanders, Jerick McKinnon, Austin Eckler, Christian Kirk, Corey Davis, Geronimo Allison, Mike Davis, Cam Newton, Carlos Hyde, Jameis Winston, Sterling Shepard, Cortland Sutton. It brings us to us here. All right. So right now on our squad, we've got Christian at our running back position. We have Miles Sanders and Christian McCaffrey. We've got 4 receivers: Tyler Boyd, Sammy Watkins, Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen. We also got our tight end locked up. So we got a little bit of room we can play with over here. We know that quarterbacks are going to be available. We've got our running backs. We've got our wide receivers. We've got our tight end. So we get to, in my mind, I'm going for best available now on this one, or anybody who really stands out to me. Top of the board, Chicago Bears defense, Austin Hooper, Marvin Jones, DK Metcalf, Ito Smith. Rams defense, Phillip Rivers, Larry Fitzgerald. I keep saying names until I come to one I really like.
So I just want to throw
3 hours later.
I just want to throw this out there, just for a draft strategy, and tell me what you guys think. So we're in the 8th round right now in a PPR league, and we've already got our wide receivers pretty much set. We have just only 2 running backs, and I do like the Miles Sanders pick a lot, and I do agree with you guys, but it's still a little bit shaky for me. I think if we went back to back here and just swooped up Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber, we're going to assure ourselves that we're going to get another running back. And again, and I'll keep beating this drum, BA's system uses a running back. He uses 1 running back. So we'd for sure lock up at least a starting running back there. So we'd give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room over any of these other guys that we're going to be taking stabs at the running back position.
So your suggestion here is Ronald Jones?
And then I would follow it up by, I would go Ronald Jones, and then in the next round.
Right. That's who I actually was looking at before I even mentioned that. Potential of having a starting running back right there. Yeah. Ronald Jones had his issues, but he was taken in the 2nd round of last year's draft. It's a new coach, the new system.
Yeah,
it's the newest player on our team. Boom.
Awesome.
DK Metcalf taken after, followed by Marvin Jones. Ito Smith. Next pick up after Ito Smith is,
I don't know. This guy's taking a long time.
The real head.
We
have just stumped
Ronald
the
Jones
computer
ahead here.
Peter must have really wanted Ronald Jones. No.
Yeah.
He's like,
so the real edge for Ronald Jones was just that he seems to be starting back for you guys. So over guys like Nyheim Hines here, or maybe even like a Dion Lewis, or some guys that could be in a receiving role for their team.
If we had taken Derrick Henry, Dion Lewis would have been the guy I would have swooped. I would just love to block that up. But the downside on one of those guys is 0, as far as I'm concerned. As for Ronald Jones, he's at least going to have a shot to take it all. So I'm going for upside, a guy who has a shot to take it all. That's
for sure.
Ito Smith was taken next, followed by Phillip Rivers, Larry Fitzgerald, Dede Westbrook. The Los Angeles Rams defense, Chicago Bears defense, Austin Hooper, N'Keal Harry, AP, also AD, same person, different abbreviations. James Washington. The computer must have really wanted James Washington. Thinking about it now.
And then look at what we had just said. Okay, so now that we're here. So, Peyton Barber is still a little bit ways down. We can try to gamble at that and possibly take a.
Who'd you take instead?
Either Nyheim Hines has a really good receiving role there, but Darrell Henderson, who Travis just keeps talking about, I'm really high on him, and that's another running back that is going to most likely take the slot. Or the receiving role first until he ends up taking over that full role there. So that's a guy that I'm definitely interested there. Again,
Darrell Henderson is going to take a 3rd down role from Todd Gurley in a Sean McVay system.
Yes,
I do. I have to disagree.
Is there any historic evidence to suggest that's going to happen?
C.J. Anderson and Todd
but
Gurley's...
that was after Gurley was hurt, though.
Okay, and wait, isn't Todd Gurley still hurt?
Well, I think he still has time to prove that he's not hurt.
Is he getting stem cell research done right now?
No, if you wanted to take Darrell Henderson because you don't believe in Todd Gurley's knees, I would support that decision. But if it's Darrell Henderson because you think he's about to swoop the 3rd down role, I'd like to.
Well, no, I'm just saying I like his upside of breaking out. And I
think his upside, breakout upside for sure. Yeah. But I think if you're looking at a 3rd down role value between him and Nyheim Hines, I'm taking Nyheim Hines, right?
Okay.
He's got the role already.
We've seen him play.
We've seen him play. We've seen what they like to do. We've seen him with Marlon Mack still get catches out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So that's my point on that. But I do agree with you. I think, listen, the last 2 mock drafts we've had, I've drafted Darrell Henderson twice.
Yeah.
I just don't know in this formatted of a league 14 team, full point PPR, we can take that gamble right now in the 9th. We may need to go with something we can hang our hat on.
Okay, so do we
It's
want
Johnny's pick.
who do we want Peyton Barber now and just get him and lock it up, or do we want to take a dive on?
It's a mock. Let's take a dive.
All right, so we said Naheem Hines.
Yeah,
All right,
call it. It's your call.
Naheem Hines.
Naheem Hines it is. So we went 3 running backs in a row to shore up our running back. Austin, tell us who went after Naheem Hines there.
Josh Allen, Deshaun Jackson, Deontay Foreman, Jacksonville's defense, Jimmy Garoppolo, Delaney Walker, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Baltimore Ravens defense. Okay. Devin
Kiki
Funchess, Kyler Murray, Jay Ajayi, Tom Brady, the Chargers defense, and we're back on the clock.
So Tom Brady being taken there kind of reminded me about the fact that we don't have a QB.
We won't have Tom
Kirk
Brady.
Cousins
won't have
is on
Tom
the
Brady.
board.
But I do see that, Johnny, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Kirk Cousins. We know that Zimmer fired a guy in DeFilippo as the offensive coordinator because they were throwing too much. Does this scare you enough off of Kirk Cousins, or are we taking Kirk Cousins here in the 10th at a nice spot with some, any week has that gunslinger mentality could win us weeks.
It's not so much the switch in the coordinator or the system that scares me. It's more of Kirk Cousins who scares me. I was really high on him last year, and he was a disappointment. I don't know why he would be that much better. When we saw him really going off over Washington, his quarterback coach and then offensive coordinator was none other than the wonderkin Sean McVay. He did really magical things for him over there, got him the head coaching job, youngest one ever for the Los Angeles Rams. I'm with the other guys who are still there, specifically Mitch Trubisky and Dak Prescott.
So, that's the next guy I was going to go with then if we couldn't get a consensus here was Dak Prescott. In a contract year, a full year with Amari Cooper. They brought in Randall Cobb. There are some weapons there that are forming around him. Do we feel comfortable here with Dak Prescott's rushing touchdown upside to take him here in the 10th?
Personally, for me, Dak Prescott's the one I like the most, but I
would go Kirk over Dak. I think that people don't realize how good Kirk was actually. He improved over what he did in Washington. It was just that there were so many good quarterbacks last year. So you give him more time in this offense. They beefed up the offensive line a little bit. So and he'll get Cook back for. You got to realize he wasn't playing for most of the season. So they brought in another tight end offensive weapon there. I like Kirk Cousins. I think that people are underestimating him, and I think that he will have a better year than Dak.
I'd be shocked.
I'd
be shocked.
But it's not my pick, so it's up to you guys. But my personal preference is Kirk over Dak. And I was the Dak truther last year.
I'm going with Dak. I'm going with the contract year.
Okay.
He finished better than Kirk Cousins last year by a slim margin, but still finished better. And I think a full year of Amari Cooper benefits Dak Prescott.
Following up there, after the flood with Gronkowski, we saw Deion Lewis, Trey Burton, Doug Baldwin taking. Computer's making its picks on this one.
Okay. I was gonna throw out. I was just gonna ask another question between Dak, but we'll move on.
You can't live in the past, bro. It's Dak Prescott.
That's who our quarterback is now. We love him.
That's our quarterback. It's our teammate.
Quarterback, man. TJ Hawkinson, Sebastian Janikowski, Matt Breida, Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Hamilton, and we're on the board right now.
Austin, it's time, dude. You could take Kirk Cousins right here.
Take them both and just hedge our bets on this one. Just highlighting one other thing. So we went ahead and took that quarterback there. The quarterbacks who are still available after in the 11th round in a 14 team, Kirk Cousins, Mitch Trubisky, Sam Bradford, nope. Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota. There's some ones there. I do like our Dak Prescott pick. I like Trubisky,
I feel like we've got, with Cousins and Dak, as soon as Cousins goes off the board, I'll just make this last comment on it. I think that we could have the last guys you could hang your hat on.
Sure.
The rest of the guys there after that, you're like, oh, I'm going to be string quarterbacks for a while.
Okay, I'm looking. I think we're going to go with our original plan. But I just cruising really quickly through the wide receivers. There's nobody out here who's really grabbing me and forcing my attention over there. I don't bother looking at tight ends. So running backs, we're going to go with Peyton Barber. We're going to lock up that Tampa Bay backfield. We got him a little later than we were thinking. I like
Perfect.
Yeah,
we got
that-
to pick up other.
done.
Yeah,
All right.
That was
We
was
got
nice.
to take that dart throw with Naheem Hines, and we also got to lock up the Tampa Bay running
I
backs
like it,
in a 14-team league. When you could lock up a backfield,
Yeah.
that's got to feel good.
especially if it's a Bruce Arians one.
Mhm.
Traditionally,
Amen.
Stroud. Daryl Henderson, Houston Texans defense, Tyrell Williams, Greg the Legs Zerline, Anthony Brown, Curtis Samuel, Jamal Williams, Kirk Cousins then finally taken there in the 12th round. Denver Broncos defense followed by Justice Hill, Cowboys defense, Justin Tucker, second, or never mind, Malcolm Brown, and now our pick is here at the 12th.
Yeah, so I'm looking at some guys here that are interesting. We're just going to go to best available and see what we got here. And this one's fun, guys.
This is Johnny's pick.
So,
Yeah. Yeah,
never
this
mind.
guy was-
Never mind. Never mind.
It is fun.
So it is
Wow.
fun.
Yeah, I was about to feel like, oh, do you want to?
You know what, Johnny?
Not
I'm gonna let you
not
finish.
only spit
I'm
my
gonna let you
face over.
finish, but hold on a second.
Yeah, not only did you want to say, oh, put my stamp down and say I'm taking Dak over Kirk, but I'm going to also take your pick as well.
Johnny, get
How
your
dare
wedding
you
ring,
talk
American
back,
Jane.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Pick.
So
Okay,
essentially,
that was
we could jump over here, get the Minnesota Vikings defense. That's a pretty solid defense, but again, 12th round, I think that's a little too early.
Can I just jump in with my suggestion?
Yeah, what's your
Is
suggestion?
that okay?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a guy that you
All right,
have
denied.
been-
That's terrible. I'm just
Fair
kidding.
enough, fair enough.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're right, my lord. I really like McCole Hardman here. I think we're in a place where we can take a stab at an upside wide receiver. Kansas City basically said we're replacing you, Tyreek Hill, with this guy. He is a rookie. I'll give you that. This is a PPR league, but this is a guy that's a home run hitter. Could be a nice flex.
Who else did? What other receiver did we already get a receiver from Kansas City?
Sammy
yeah, we have
Watkins, yeah.
Sammy. Yeah. So,
But I mean, is Kansas City really an offense that scares you off of getting multiple wide receivers on?
No, I actually like this. And you don't normally hand a receiver, but when you're in a position to get two receivers from the same team that you both like, you also then just hedge that bet. If one goes down, the other one gains some value. And whoa, look, he's already on your roster.
But
This
I
is Johnny's pick.
digress, Johnny. You take the stage here. Tell us what you're thinking.
my issue with I think that we might have jumped the boat a little bit. Hardman is a guy I don't even think he will start in this offense. I think that he'll come in. He needs to learn. He's super raw. He drops a lot of balls. I mean, I think the idea eventually is that he'll take over the Tyreek Hill role, but I don't think I actually like Deebo Samuel way more than I like Mecole. But
Hardman.
I think if anything though, we should go with Paris Campbell here. Wide receiver for Indianapolis, rookie. He is a stud rookie out of Ohio. And I'm telling you, this guy will be a fantasy impact right away in an offense that needs wide receivers. So that's where I would go.
That's the pick. Paris Campbell's off the board, followed by Chris Thompson, Austin Seferian Jenkins, Sam Bradford. They're going to regret that pick. Mitch Trubisky. Regret it even less.
Is this the Rob Gronkowski?
The same team that took Rob Gronkowski. Sleeperbot is great. We love this system.
Nice segue. Please sponsor us.
Yeah.
But also,
Get a better
fix your
AI.
ish.
Oh.
All right,
So look at
Kyle,
it's just interesting that the computer for the team that is under me just auto picked both Mecole and Deebo, the two wide receivers
it
that we
knows you.
Yeah,
It's
been-
like
conspiracy.
it's like when you think about a product, you're like you just think about a
and it shows
Swiffer,
up on your
and
phone.
then bam, you're it's like, hey, we want to buy this, and you're like,
It's
no, I
creepy.
want you to stay out of my brain.
Yeah.
But that's okay. All right, so the next pick, this is Travis's pick here. We're in the 13th.
I'm going to take a little. It's our last shot at a lottery pick before we maybe go kicker defense here. So I feel honored that I get to take my stab at this. I'm going to go with Devin Singletary unless anybody can talk me off the ledge here. I know Buffalo's got a whole stable of running backs, but Devin Motors Singletary was a great running back in college, very talented. We've seen LaShawn McCoy spoil Avengers for everyone, so he could be cut any day now.
Yeah.
We've seen We've seen Frank Gore has been, obviously, speaking of Avengers, he's been like, Thanos with his Infinity Stones.
His
like
career is
living.
infinity.
Yeah, he's just like, he has it done. So, but maybe this is finally the year that Frank Gore goes away, and I think that Devin
I like the
Singletary's a
Singletary.
nice
Yep.
guy you can stash.
I think that's a name you're going to see climb
Yeah.
as the season gets closer. After that pick, we saw Chris Henderson, Jimmy Graham, Greg Olson, Jordan Reed, Harrison Butker, Stephen Gostkowski, Jack Doyle Rules, Will Lutz, Philadelphia Eagles, Duke Johnson, AJ Brown, Adam Vinatieri, Rex Burkhead, Tavecchio, the kicker for Atlanta, and it's my. Ooh. Now you said you took the last wild card.
Yeah.
I might take a wild card
Oh.
here of not taking a kicker.
There it is.
What if I decide to take a kicker?
Then we won't have a defense. We're still missing those two picks.
Yeah, we talked a little bit on the last show about that strategy, guys. You always have to take your kicker or defense right away if there's a couple guys you're between.
Unless it's in your rules. Always check your rules, but most of the time leagues don't enforce that. You just have to have one by the start of that first Sunday's games.
And if they do enforce it, quit that league.
Yeah, tell them that's a terrible rule. It's called strategy.
One of the things I do like to do, I'm a big believer in handcuffs. Are there any handcuffs for guys right now that you think are grabbing? Is there a running back in Carolina that would be appropriate to back up CMC, or is there anybody else in
blanking on the running back that they drafted? But they did draft one pretty late.
They let go of both of their guys last year, so that's something potentially to keep an eye on there.
I'm just gonna throw out my 2 cents, Austin. Just when you're this deep and you're talking about handcuffs that are important. Damian Harris, he should receive, or he could get that Rex Burkhead role. He could receive a lot of balls out of the backfield if we're taking a stab.
But I don't want to take a guy that is another team's handcuff. I want to take a handcuff of. I'm a big believer. I would much, much, much rather. You guys might disagree on this one, but I'm pretty confident in this. I would much rather take a handcuff for my own team than try to take somebody else's handcuff. And here's why. You take a handcuff for somebody else's team, you're hoping that their guy goes down. Meanwhile, he has no value for you sitting there. And if he never goes down, nothing ever happens, and you never had a running back. Meanwhile, the other guy that you drafted instead of the running back you drafted could go down. And if he goes down, you're going to want to have that handcuff, and bam, you already have it there. Mm-hmm. The likelihood of your starting running back going down versus one of your opponent's running backs going down, we'll say is equal. So if that's equal, I want to make sure I have value. I'm going to lock that up. So I'd rather go with a guy that's on my squad's handcuff versus another one from another team and wish ill upon my opponent.
I love the strategy that Austin laid out there, and I'll just say that Elijah Holyfield is the backup. Well, we don't know if he's the backup right now. He's a guy that wasn't drafted, that the Carolina Panthers picked up. He went to Georgia, same school as Sony Michel, same school as Todd Gurley, has been known to be a running back school. I don't think I'll run out on you, so you're good. And so my point here is that we're drafting in May right now, so we may not know who the actual handcuff is. Yes, I was wrong.
We just got the Tennessee defense.
Well, that's exactly who Austin
was not going to take ever any draft I will ever participate in.
But here's the thing.
Technical.
I'm going to go ahead and just forfeit Johnny's pick here on the next round to you, so you could get that pick.
Johnny, all right, so we've got a defense now. Your stab over here. I would keep in mind, too, we just had a technical difficulty happen. A lot of these teams out here are going to be drafting their stuff online, virtual
That's great.
spaces.
Yeah.
I, at least 75% of the time, have a pick that gets swooped from me because technology is technology. It works with us. It works against us. It's slowly taking over the world. So it is what it is. Tennessee defense, cool, whatever.
I get and I get what you can make this pick, that's fine. But for me, again,
take it, John. No, it's your pick, man. Close this out.
No, that's fine. Like we'll take the handcuff. I understand what you're saying as far as in a normal. I would feel there's a much better chance of that happening. And knowing that if that guy steps in, that he's gonna I don't think that if CMC goes down, and this other guy comes in who's an undrafted rookie. How often do undrafted rookies pop off and be an RB1 or an RB2? It's pretty rare.
The starting running back for a team though usually does.
Yeah, but again, we
even
don't know.
even if it's a fill-in, because it could be something where he comes in and he's not going to end up as an RB1, but maybe he has good weeks. I get where you're saying though, Johnny. That's what the point I was trying to make is it's May. We may not even know that Elijah Holyfield ends up that guy, but I like Austin's point because it marries not only your guy and the value that he's going to have on your bench, but it marries that with it feels better to have your handcuff.
Oh, I think if
instead
it's
of rooting
like
for somebody else,
like
to go
if
down.
it's Todd Gurley and then you're talking about Henderson, I get that. But to me, like Damian Harrison is going to have value from day one, and I only see his value increasing. So for me, I would rather have someone who I already know his value right now.
Well, lucky for you,
and
you're on the clock.
Well, no,
So
because we had
pull the
said
trigger.
what was the guy's name that?
No. Pull the trigger.
No.
We had technical difficulties. The pick is yours.
Yeah, and I was
Most
going to
of it I
take
did, 'cause I
Tennessee's.
gave Austin.
I was going to take Tennessee's defense. So.
Well, then there we go. Good.
All right, what was that guy's name? That they just
Elijah
picked?
Holyfield.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
is
right.
the.
Holyfield.
But I don't. Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
you're gonna
backup
have to
for
search
Christian
it.
McCaffrey.
I was just-
Holyfield. Take him.
This is the backup.
He better be the real deal Holyfield. And now these
He
suckers
is
in-
related.
know
He
how I
is the
feel.
son of Evander Holyfield. Just a side note there.
Keep it
also
real.
fun.
All right, so we just finished up our mock draft. All right, do one of you two want to do the honor? Austin, you want to break this final team down?
Sure, let me run it down from the top down. We've got a running back, Christian McCaffrey out of Carolina. Keenan Allen, receiver for the Chargers. George Killer.
Killer
Hey,
Kittle, baby.
hey,
Yeah.
Killer Kittle. I like
George
it.
Killer. Tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. Followed by Tyler Boyd, receiver for Cincinnati. Sammy Watkins, receiver for the Chiefs out of Kansas City. Allen Robinson, receiver for the Chicago Bears. Miles Sanders, freshly drafted running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Ronald Jones, running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nyheim Hines, running back for Indianapolis Colts. Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Cowboys. Peyton Barber, that's our handcuff in Tampa Bay. Paris Campbell, receiver out of Indianapolis. Singletary, running back from Buffalo. Tennessee Titans defense, our favorite pick of the draft, followed by Elijah Holyfield, running back, handcuff, Carolina Panthers. What do you think, Johnny?
I think for a PPR team, this is pretty good. But I'm more interested in hearing what Whisper Nation thinks of this team. Are there a couple of players that you would take differently, or are you liking what we have here for this 14-team PPR league? Let us know in the comments. We appreciate you, as always, Whisper Nation. If you want more fantasy football content, please head on over to thefantasywhispers.com. We have links to all of our social media there, as well as articles and videos up on our website. Until our next mock draft, take it easy, Whisper Nations. That's Big Travie. That's Austin Sear. And I'm Johnny Game Time Hicks. And we are out. Peace.
We love
Peace. Love you so much.
you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TF Whisperers.